When we see the parade of vehicles that won the war, that is the T-34s up to the modern machines, it shows us the technological evolution of the Russian army, and it inspires us as well to get to work so that we can develop in the same direction. Relations are going very well. For the past 2 years now, relations have started off very well, and we are in the process of deepening the areas of defense and security, but also education, and later on the commercial sector and everything else. We have staggered the different areas so that we can exchange a lot, share many experiences, because we also have a lot to learn from Russia in the field of education, especially in the sciences. Now, it must be said that up to today, gold is the #1 export product in Burkina Faso. But we have started up the engine of agriculture, first for self-sufficiency, but also for trade, foreign trade, for export. The terrorists are reinforced by many foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not actually, when I take the case of Burkina, there are many criminals who are in Burkina, but who are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques.
But what is their interest?
It's not really terrorism, it's imperialism. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war so that we can't develop and so they can continue to plunder our resources. They have every interest in bringing in specialists in mines to lay different types of mines and explosives experts. Today the terrorists use drones to fight and everything. These are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of the situation. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have recovered the entirety of the Sahel. All the countries that are fighting today for their economic independence, we are trying to collaborate better with these countries because it is a form of oppression by imperialism. It is necessary for those who are oppressed to unite in order to confront this hegemony. We are moving forward in a gradual way. There are many structures to put in place, and there are many areas that need to be upgraded in the 3 countries. Because, as you know, from an economic standpoint, we are not at the same level, and from a military standpoint, there are many aspects to consider. We need to try to balance things out, and so that requires setting up many structures and holding many meetings. And for free movement, that requires bringing together a certain number of parameters. You must have seen that we did a lot of work to come up with a single security document for travel and everything. It's evolving and things are going very well. I think they themselves contributed to diminishing their own influence because they have a paternalistic view of our relationship. You see, whenever you look at everything we do, every initiative we take, it's always about Russia. If someone speaks, they're said to be influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? According to them, Africans aren't capable of developing anything. Africans aren't capable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. That's what we're fighting against. And look at their rhetoric. Look at their rhetoric. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It's said on Western media, you often listen to them. They do nothing but lie. And look today at the AES, which is a model that's starting to take shape. They can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or about the AES. It's impossible for them, and every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to pass off lies as truth. And as a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa, what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby within the blast radius to see what effect it would have? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible. All of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up. That's our fight as well, in a way. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where these radio stations were shut down, but we would use apps, record their news broadcasts just to listen to them. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept whatever they wanted. It's their narrative that they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to see things differently. And I understood that what they're doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned people's minds, especially Africans. You can really help awaken young people's awareness so that people understand how the world works and don't let themselves get carried away by those people.